Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about Google Forms. And Google Forms can be used to gather all sorts of data from multiple choice to free response to anything. And you can gather data from coworkers as well as students. So basically from your main Google Docs page, you want to click on Create and then go down to Form. Alright, and this is how the form editor that we're going to take a look at. Now up here we can see allow users to edit responses. So as they're making their responses, if you want them to edit it, you should click on that. This is checked. Require Lutheran High School sign in to view this form. So if you were sending it to coworkers, they would be able to sign in, and then it would record the username if you check on this right here. And it puts a little note that their username is going to be recorded. So if you're sending it to other faculty members and you don't want them to have to type in their name, but you want to know who they are, you would use this. If you want this to remain anonymous, then you would just uncheck this. Now, for students to be able to access your forms, you have to uncheck Require Lutheran High School Sign In. Even though they have an lhsoc.org email address, because it's students.lhsoc.org, it doesn't work this way. So we're going to uncheck this, assuming that we're making this for students. Okay, and it says it's outside of the domain, but that's okay. Alright, so we can make a form right here. I'm just going to call it Techno Lunch. And then this would be any help test. And this is going to be any help text that would help people fill this out. So survey about Techno Lunch. Alright, now in this area is the only place that you can actually put links that will become hyperlinks. So I do want to see this. So I'm just going to take the Techno Lunch website here, copy it, and paste it right here. And that will become clickable in the form once it's published. Alright, so each question needs a question title. Okay, and we'll just call this first question. And you can add help text here, whatever you want to do. So, how many times have you come to Techno Lunch? Okay, now at this point, you have a choice of different questions. You can leave this a text question in which they type a real short answer right here. That would be a free response. You have a paragraph text, okay, which just makes the box a little bit bigger. It encourages them to write a little bit more. You can also have a multiple choice. Now in this case, you would actually have to fill in your options. So 0. If you want to add another option, you would just click here, maybe 1, 2, 3, okay, and then that's all you would have to do there. If you ever want to get rid of a choice, you would just click on the X right here. Now you can also add another. So if it's none of these, let's say we'll just check that, and now they can actually type in a free response if their choice is not listed here. Now some other things you can do here is make this a required question so that people don't accidentally skip over it. So if it's important that they answer this, then we want to check make this a required question. Now it also says go to page based on answer. And to do this, you have to have multiple pages in your form, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. Okay, so for instance, if this was the correct answer, you could have them continue to a page that would say this is the correct answer. If they chose this one and it was an incorrect answer, then you could have them continue to a page that might give them some more instruction or take them back to wherever you want them to go. So it's kind of a way you can direct people going through the form there. Almost like those mystery readers where you can choose your own destiny sort of thing. So anyway, that's pretty cool. Now, when you're done with the question, you would just hit done. And you can see what it's going to look like to the students. Now, if you ever want to change it, you're just going to click the little pen right here, pencil here. It's going to be edit, and it just takes you right back so you can change things. This right here duplicates the question, so if you have a lot of questions that are similar, you can just duplicate it right there. Okay, and it would be right here, but I didn't really want to duplicate it. That was a mistake, so to delete it, you just click on the trash can and it deletes it right there. Okay, well, let's look at sample question 2 here. Notice that it's saved automatically. And let's make this, what else can we do? Oh, so for multiple choice, you can only choose one answer, but if you want them to be able to choose multiple answers, you can try checkboxes. So the question could be, what type of pet do you have? Well, a lot of people might have more than one. So we could say fish. If you hit tab, then it goes down to another one, bird, rabbit, cat, dog. So in this case, they can mark all that apply. You can still also add an other right there. Okay, we'll make that a required question as well. Well, now we're out of questions to edit. So the way you get more questions is by going up to Add Item, and then you select which type of question you want. Well, we've already looked at text, paragraph, multiple choice, checkbox. Let's look at choose from a list. Okay, so we'll just say, what is your favorite season? Okay, and where you want choose from a list, notice you can edit that here. So option 1, I'm going to say spring. Option 2, summer. Option 3, fall. Option 4, winter. Okay, I'm just going to click done right here. Now what this does is it creates a drop-down menu. So when students go to ask it, what is your favorite season, they would have to click on this and then choose which one they want, and then it changes their answer to this. So it's almost like multiple choice, just a little bit different drop-down menu style there. All right, we also have the option of having a scale. So how comfy are you with your iPad? Okay, and we want this to be a scale, and you can make it 1, 2, whatever, and actually 0 would also work. And then you can have optional labels for the extreme values there. So 1, I'm going to say not at all, what is this thing? Very comfy will be the other spectrum. I can't live without it. All right, we'll click done, and now you can see here that how comfy are you with your iPad? And not at all is a 1, or a 5, very comfy, I can't live without it. So you can get a scale type of question right there. The last type of question we can have is a grid. And this is very much like a scale type question. So if we have 5 columns, it's going to just show up right like this, and you can label these as whatever you want. So if you don't want it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say you want some other type of labels, you can just do it this way. So we could do hate it, not very good, just so, okay, and maybe you're a master at it. Okay, so those are going to be your labels along the columns. Okay, you can have as many row labels as you want. So we could say usability, we could say operation, using in class, playing games. Okay, so how advanced are you with the following? All right, and when we click done, we'll see what it looks like here. So how advanced are you with the following? We can see our column headers right here, and then the different questions would be all right there. So it's one question, almost like the scale, but you have choice over what each one actually says. Alright, some other items that you can add. You can add section headers. Okay, so just go add item, section header. If it's long and you just want to do this, you can. You can add a description. And notice the little crosshair arrows there. And what that means is you can drag and drop this question in different orders. So I'm going to move that up there because iPad questions. And we'll see that section header right there. Okay, other things you can add is you can add page breaks. So it'll add a second page, and we'll just call this page 2. Another page. Okay, now with the page break right there, you're only going to see these questions on one page. And once you finish this page, you can choose what to do. So after page 1, you can have it go to a specific page or continue to the next page. Alright, so then if we created more items in here, okay, this question is not going to show up on the first page, it's going to show up on the second. Okay, now it does work that you can change the order of any of these questions. So let's say I want the season question first. You can just drag and drop it right there to get your form to go in the order that you would like. Now you can also choose themes here. You can make it all like fancy looking, and it's always a good idea to see what they look like afterwards just to make sure that it works out. So I'm going to choose this one right here. And you can kind of see what it's going to look like. Very girly. Okay, and then if you want to use this, click apply. If not, go ahead and press cancel. Okay, so you can see your theme right here is letterhead. It doesn't show up in the editing view, but it will when we publish it. Now, what we can do here is you can view the published form by clicking on this link. Okay, but we're not going to do that quite yet. Let's look at the rest of these here. You can email this form, and it'll email straight out of here. So if you have a list of student email addresses, you can type them all in here, copy and paste them. You can even choose from your contacts. Okay, and you can see these right here. If you've set up different periods, like I set up on my students by period here, so I could email everybody in period 4, and I could just select all of these down here. I don't actually want to email it though. Now you can choose to include the form in the email. If you're on a computer, you will see it in the email. If you're on an iPad, you won't be able to see it. It's going to give you a link that you can click to be able to take the form. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. Now you can also see the responses. You can get a summary or a spreadsheet view. I'll show you one that has a little bit better information that's already been gathered. Under more actions, you can embed this. So if you click on this, it gives you an embed code that you can put in the HTML section of MyOlu Studio, and you can actually embed it right into MyOlu. So let's try that. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go to MyOlu. Sign in. I'm just going to go to any class here. And I have a testing ground where I just try stuff out that students can't see. Then I'll edit this. Start a new draft. Continue. Okay, if you want HTML, you're going to click this HTML right here. You're going to see all of the code, and then we're just going to put the cursor where we wanted it. I guess at the top is fine. We'll hit Command V and paste that right in. And let's save and publish. Let's go to course and see what we got. Alright, so you can see that it embedded the form right there. So you can put your forms wherever you want students to be able to take them as you go. Now because it's not getting their LHSOC username automatically, let's go back to our form. And we may want to add an item here. Text, let's move this up to be first. Okay, and we'll just change this to name, and however you want that to look, that'll work right there. Make it required so they have to fill this in, and if they want credit, they're going to type their name in. It's amazing how that works. Now, when you make a change anywhere here, it automatically will update your form for you. Okay, some other actions that we can do is the edit confirmation. So when you're done taking the form, when a student's done with it, this is the response that they're going to see, just so that they know that their response has been recorded. And you can type anything in here. Your response has been recorded. Now get to bed on time. Okay, so kind of cool stuff that you can do right there. If you want them to see everybody's responses, then you would just click Publish Response Summary. Okay, and obviously they can't sign in, so you want to leave that unchecked as well. And so this is what they'll see when they've completed their form. Just click Save, and then you're good to go. Alright, so let's take a look at our form. It says you can view the published form here. So I'm going to click on this. Opens up a new link right here, and this is what your form is going to look like. Hopefully you're kind of familiar with these and you can fill them out. How many times? All of them. Okay, my favorite season, definitely summer. I have a rabbit and a dog. How comfy? Yeah, I'm pretty comfy. Usability. Okay, operation, master, using in class, just okay. Playing games, I'm not very good. And I'll just continue. And notice that takes me to my second page, another page. What department are you in? Mathematics. And then when you're done, you just click Submit. It says your response has been recorded. Now get to bed on time. And there we go. Okay, so what happened to all this data that we're collecting now? Well, what we want to do is go back to your home page. And you're going to see here, this is a form called Techno Lunch. Now, when you click on this form, it doesn't actually take you to the form. It takes you to an Excel spreadsheet. And this is where all of the data gets organized. Okay, so you can see a timestamp when this answer was recorded. And then here are all your questions. Okay, so these were all the responses that I did right here, so we can see all those. Now, one thing that's a little bit irritating about Google Forms is when you create questions and you move them around, they don't actually record in the same order. So when you want to do this, make sure you think about what your first question is, because if you move it afterwards, notice my name that I did last here, it's going to go at the very end. Okay, not a big deal because spreadsheets can sort wherever you are, but just something to keep in mind when you're doing that. So you're going to see everybody's responses. They're all going to form up right here. Now, right up here it says Form 1. That means there's a form attached with this. So if we click on this, we can go back and we can edit our form. So we can actually change what it had been. So if we needed to make any changes, we can do that, and everything we had is still there. Now we can also send the form from here. And notice that takes you to that email pop-up that we had seen before. We can also go to the live form. Okay, so it takes us right to the live form, and notice you have this link. And again, you can copy and paste that into an email or into Myloo Studio, and it would take you right here. You also have the option to embed form in the web page right from here. Okay, so it gives you that embed code. Okay, you can also see a summary of responses. Now that we have some, let's click on that. Okay, and it handles different types of questions differently. So in a multiple choice question, it will give you the percentage breakdown If it's a text situation, it's going to list out all of the different answers. Okay. In a checkbox situation, it's going to kind of show a comparison here. And notice that this might be more than 100% because you might have multiple items. Here you can see kind of the comfortability with the iPad. Okay. And here you can see the total number of results. Okay, for the grid, you can see all of the responses here, and you're going to see it for each of the columns. So usability, it'll tease out operation, using in class, all this other stuff. So some really good graphical as well as numerical data here. And this was just a text answer. And then you can see how many responses you've gotten over time. So pretty nice way to grab all of the data and put it together. Now you can also uncheck this box of accepting responses. So if you don't want any more responses from your students, like they've missed the deadline or whatever, then you can just check that box and then nobody can respond to your form. It becomes dead there. Okay, you'll notice in editing you can't actually delete your columns there. You can delete the rows, so if you get some answers that are kind of silly or whatever from students, you can just delete the row and that won't change anything. If you change this at all, okay, you can change it here, but it doesn't actually change on your form. Okay, notice it still says what type of pet do you have. So once you are collecting the form, don't really change this stuff. It's not going to be very helpful if you do. Alright, so that is using Google Forms, and hope you found that helpful.